So welcome to my home and to chair yoga class for the afternoon. You'll hear my birdies in the background. I have society finches. So that's what you're hearing as our soundtrack. So the first thing we want to do is seat ourselves a seated mountain pose. Welcome, whoever just joined us. It's nice to have you with us. And if you could go ahead and mute your phone, that would be wonderful. So seated mountain, feet flat on the floor. Take a look down at your feet as you're getting yourself situated, because this position is very important for the whole class. So you want to have your toes pointed forward. And sometimes we'll be really surprised. We'll look down and see that we sit with our feet extended off to either side or in a different kind of direction. I'm going to move back, make sure you can see my feet. You don't want your feet doing this sort of business. You want your toes pointed forward. You want your ankles directly below your knees. You want your knees straight forward of your hips. And the way you accomplish that last one is you're going to make two fists, put your hands together, and that's the distance between your knees. Human beings are wonderfully well proportioned. So however big your fists together are, that is exactly the width of your hips. So when you put your fists right there between your knees, you'll have your knees and your hips all well aligned. So the next thing is to shake your tail feathers a little bit. You want to make sure you're sitting up on your sit bones. You don't want to be rolled back or slouched or off to one side. So make sure you're sitting up nice and straight and tall. And then roll your shoulders just a little bit so that we know that they're straight up. What you're doing is you're stacking your spine so that your hips and your shoulders and then your ears are as close to being in a straight line as you're able. Now, when you get to this position, what you're doing is putting all of your muscles and your core and everything into a good, proper position. You're allowing for all the space your organs need. You're allowing for all the space your lungs need. And so this is the position we begin with, and this is a seated version of the mountain pose, which is the standing position that you often begin with in yoga class. Imagine there's a string on the back of your belly button and just give it a little tug, about 1/2 inch, no more. That helps to begin engaging your core. And if you're not used to doing that on a regular basis, just reminding yourself of that little 1/2 inch pull in on the string behind your belly button will begin to help you begin pulling that core together and having those muscles start to work together. So now with the breathing, we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. And the mnemonic to use to remember this is in through your nose like you're smelling a rose, and out through your mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Remember, this yoga, one of the things that we're working on is improving our breath capacity and our lung capacity. So the breathing is very important. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Go ahead now while we're seated and we're getting ready to begin. Close your eyes and take 3 of those breaths at your own pace and allow yourself to breathe in relaxation and breathe out any kind of stress or leftover junk from before class. And just do 3 of those in silence. And then when you're done, open up your eyes. You may very well feel a little more relaxed just after those 3 breaths. Don't worry about this class being too challenging for you. Yoga is for everybody. And the whole point is to get yourself better connected with your body so that you and your body can live together in a very healthy way. So now we're going to start by up our joints, and we're going to start with our fingers. So you begin moving your fingers around. Now, if your fingers are stiff or you have range of motion issues, you always do what you're able to do. Don't go beyond that. Don't put yourself in pain. And we'll discuss the modifications as we go along for each movement. So after the fingers, go ahead and add your wrists. And so now fingers and wrists are moving. And then you can go ahead and add in your elbows. And as you're doing this, remember to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Whoever just joined us, welcome. If you want to mute yourself, please join in. We're sitting in seated mountain. We have our feet flat on the floor, our knees straight forward of our hips. We're sitting up nice and straight and tall. We're breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, and then we're beginning to loosen up our joints. Now, I don't know if everybody knows. Now, let's do our arms, our shoulders. If you have stiff shoulders or range of motion issues, modify these. If this is what you're able to do, that's just wonderful. Go ahead and move your arms back and forth lower. If you can, bring them up higher and see if you can make a full circle with your arms. If you're able, that's wonderful. If you're not, don't worry about it. Try bringing them up this way and doing a little bit of flapping movement. If one arm is able to do this, go ahead and do that. If the other one is not, you can absolutely use your first arm to help your second, so that you can get some range of motion in there and get the blood flowing into all of the joints. That's what we're working on. Every single joint in your body has a little liquidy cushion in there. And sometimes they just get dried out from lack of use and movement, from lack of blood flow and circulation. So that's what we're doing. So now let's see if we can take off. We're gonna fly away. I don't know where you'd like to go vacation, but I'd like to go somewhere where we're all healthy. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a little flight. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then just let your arms swing a little bit. Let the movement go. Let all of your arms get a little bit wiggly and relaxed, and just let them enjoy themselves. And then you can go ahead and rest your hands on your knees, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna work on our feet. And I'm gonna move back a little so I know you can see them. You're gonna start by wiggling your toes. Just like this. Really flexing them, pushing them up in the air and down, flexing them back and forth. We wanna get the blood flowing all the way down to our feet. If we're seated a lot, that might not be happening as well as it should. So that's one of the reasons we're taking some time to work on those joints a second. And then we're gonna put our toes down and lift our heels up and rock our feet back and forth. Move them around like this so that you can feel the motion in your ankles. Getting them going, moving them back and forth, heels down and toes up. And then you can take your feet, swing them in either direction, loosen up your ankles a little bit more. Now, one of the motions that we do is to go ahead and extend your legs out in front and point your toes down so that your heels and your toes are both on the floor. Knees are extended, heels are down, toes are down. And just go ahead and, if you're able to do that, stretch your feet out and let all of those muscles and tendons and all the ligaments on the top of your feet stretch. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just let them stretch while you've got them out there like that. And I'm trying to make sure I back up far enough so that you can see them. While you've got them out there, pick your toes up and point them at the sky, and then point them back down on the floor again. Nice long stretch. And then let's go ahead and we're going to sit up nice and straight and tall and put one leg out in front of us. Now, if you're only able to have your leg this high, that's fine. If you're able to have it up here, that's wonderful because you're going to be working this quad muscle as well. So we're going to point and flex with our foot while we have it up, breathing all the time, in through our nose like we're smelling a rose, and out through our mouth like we're blowing out a candle. There we go. And then let's make some circles around in both directions. And then point and flex. And then let's put our foot down and we'll do the other foot. Again, if this is as far up as you're able to raise your foot, that's just fine. Here is also good. And point and flex. Just like this. And then around in circles. So you're really getting your ankle nice and loose. And now let's swing our knees back and forth. Get the blood flowing in our knees. And now we're going to open up our hips by taking one leg off to the side. Now, if you have arms on your chair, this will be a little more challenging. So you can just step a little bit out to the side like this. If you absolutely have no arms on your chair and you can, go ahead and swing one leg all the way to the side so that you can sit in a wide stance and then sit up nice and straight and tall. And take a nice deep breath in and out. If we've been sitting a lot, our hips may be very tight. And tight hips will absolutely cause the manner in which we walk and get around to be less healthy. When your hips tighten up, your muscles tighten up there, and you don't have the range of motion to walk and move around that you normally have. So, nice deep breath in and out. And another one in and out. And let's breathe in and reach up to the sky, and then breathe out and in and out and in. Bring your hands down to your knees, bend at your hips, keep your back straight and lean forward over your knees, and reach your hands down to just below your knees, just like this. We're going to hold on and look up, and we're going to raise up and down on our toes 10 times, okay? So 1, 2, this is like a full body press when you're doing a leg press and you're raising your body weight up and down on your toes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And go ahead and sit up nice and straight and tall. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And another one in and out. Okay. Now, check your seated position again. Make sure you're back at the starting position. And let's go ahead and do some work on our shoulders and loosen them up. And then we'll work on our neck and our arms, and we'll move into the rest of our body. So arms are going to come up like a cactus, and bring your hands to your shoulders. If you can't reach all the way to your shoulders, that's just fine. You can put your hands near, and then you're going to do figure eights going forward. If one shoulder has some range of motion issues and you're not able to do this much movement, go ahead and do each shoulder individually. You can absolutely modify in order to be able to accommodate this kind of movement. Do several moving forward, and then change the direction and do circles going back. Again, if you need to, do them one at a time. That's not a problem. And then go ahead and drop your arms down and give them a little shake. We're going to loosen up our neck now. Be really gentle with your neck. A lot of important things in there. And you might not know that it's tight until you start trying to move around. One of the things about this specific yoga class is that we are very, very careful about spinal issues. So if you have, this class is okay if you have osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, back injuries, or spinal stenosis. We will not do movements that will aggravate those. So we're going to look up at the sky, and then we're going to look down. But when we look down, we're going to bring our chin to our neck, not down to our chest, okay? So let's be very conscious. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and look up at the ceiling. And then we're going to look down and bring our chin to our neck. What we're doing when we do that is stretching out these connective tissues up here at the atlas and at the bottom of your skull. And then a nice deep breath in and out as we look down. and in and out. And bring your head back to the center. And then let's turn it to the right. Turn as far as you're comfortable. And when you get to that point, go ahead and continue to turn with your eyes. So it's as though you're trying to look behind yourself. And then bring eyes and head back to the center. And let's go to the other side. Very slow, smooth movements, always with your neck. Turn to your comfort zone. And then continue to turn with your eyes and sneak a peek behind you. And then bring eyes and head back to the front again. Let's do this 2 more times on each side. Go ahead at your own pace. Breathe in as we turn to look over our shoulder. And out as we come back to the center. And in. And out. And in. Out. In. And out. When you're finished, go ahead and join us back, looking straight forward. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then the next one we're going to do, we're going to lean our head to the side as though we're trying to touch our ear to our shoulder. I want you to make sure that your back and your head are very straight. You're not turning it in either direction. You're just tipping to the side. And if your head doesn't go over very far, that's just fine. If your neck and shoulders are very tight, you could feel this stretch not only here, but all the way down that arm. So definitely take it gently. Never rush when you're doing yoga. Always do it at your own pace. There's nobody to compete with. It's all about getting into better connection with your body and how it works and feels. So just take your time. When this feels like it's relaxed a little bit, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, turn your face so that you're looking down into that armpit on that side. This will move the stretch from the side of your neck to the side back of your neck. And you'll feel the stretch down into and over your shoulder blade. And then imagine your armpit asked you a question and you're going to tell it yes by nodding your head 3 times. So you're going to nod your head up and down 3 times in that same spot. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth at your own pace. When you've completed that, turn your head again so that your ear is pointing towards your shoulder and bring your head up to the center. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then to the other side. Now you're going to find that the 2 sides of your neck may be very different. One side may be very tight, the other very loose. Nobody's body is even and equal on both sides. We're all very, very different from one side to the other. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth as you relax into this position. And when it's feeling comfortable, go ahead and move your head so that you're looking down into your armpit. And go ahead and tell that armpit yes with a nod 3 times. When you're ready. Up and down. When you're finished, go ahead and turn your head so your ear is pointed towards your shoulder. And very slowly bring your head up to center again. With a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. So having loosened all that up, human beings hold about 80% or more of their stress in their neck and shoulders. So during this new normal that we're living in, if you get really stressed, one of the things you can do are those arm circles we just did and those 3 neck exercises. And sometimes just doing those and breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth will help to relieve some of the stress you might be experiencing. Okay, let's start working on our core and our middle. Reaching your arm way up in the air. Imagine you're picking an apple off an apple tree. And then you're going to take that same arm down on the same side of your body, and you're going to go ahead and reach to that direction and lean over like you're trying to set that apple on the floor. Now, hold on to your chair if you need to, if you don't feel safe reaching over too far. If this is as far as you're able to reach, that's fine. If you can go all the way down to the floor, also fine. But be careful. Every week, your body will change a little bit, and it might not necessarily be able to do the same thing each week. So now let's reach up with the other arm. All the way up, we'll take a nice deep breath in through our nose. And when we lean towards the floor, we're going to breathe out through our mouth. All the way over. Allowing that whole side of our body that's pointed towards the ceiling to stretch, and then come back up towards the center. Let's do each side one more time. Nice deep breath in. Reach for the apple and breathe out through your mouth and bring it down to the floor. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the floor. And then bring your arm up and let's go to the other side. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you bend towards the floor and set the apple down. And back up to the center. And then let's put our arms up. I dream a genie pose. Make sure your feet are planted firmly on the floor. Lean forward. Check on the positions of your feet. Sometimes they change while we're not paying attention. Make sure you're sitting up nice and straight and tall. And we're going to turn to the side. As far as you're able to turn from side to side, you go ahead and do that. From one side to the other. Use the muscles in your middle to turn you. Make sure your feet are pressed firmly to the floor and your butt's pressed firmly to the chair. What that'll do is make you use those middle muscles, all those muscles around your core, to turn yourself from side to side. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you finish the one you're on, come back to the center and go ahead and put your arms out in cactus again. And then let's turn again. This will allow us to turn a little farther. From side to side. Using those muscles in your middle. Feet firmly planted on the floor. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth as you turn back and forth from side to side. Now the next one we're going to do, turn to whatever side you're facing and hold it right there. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you come back to center. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. Turn as far as you're able and hold. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you come back to center. Let's do one more on each side. And turn, nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you come back. Make sure you're sitting up nice and straight and tall. Last one. Turn as far as you're comfortable turning. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth as you come back. And drop your arms down. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And let's do one more exercise for our girdle area before we go ahead and work on our arms. And this one is called stirring the pot, and I like it. So imagine that you're a great big spoon inside a big cauldron, and you're gonna lean forward, and you're gonna go around like you're a spoon stirring the pot. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna lean forward first, and we're gonna go 3 times around in one direction, and then 3 in the other. But we're gonna breathe in as we go to the back point, and then breathe out on the other side. So not only are we working this middle, but we're actually working our lungs at the same time, and we're getting those 2 things, namely our diaphragm, to work together, okay? So let's lean forward, bend at your hips, keep your back nice and straight. You're a great big wooden spoon. And we're gonna take a nice deep breath in as we go around the first half. We'll get to the back, that's the end of the in breath. And then we're gonna go around as we breathe out. And there's 1, let's do 2 more. In, and out, and in, and out. Last one, this direction, in, and out. Now we're gonna go the other way, same instructions. Breathe in, and out. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the floor, your butt's firmly planted on the chair. And breathe in, and out. Last one, in, and out. And go ahead and come back to center. Sit up nice and straight and tall. Repair your seated position if you need to. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now we're going to extend one arm out. Doesn't matter which you start with, we're going to do both. So one arm is going to be extended out straight. You're working towards your elbow being straight and at about shoulder height with your hand out, palm facing the floor. And you're going to use this other hand and press down on the top of that first hand so that you're making a bend in your wrist. I'll turn sideways so you can see. And your fingers are pointing down towards the floor. These next series of exercises that we're doing are for loosening up your wrist, your hands, the carpal tunnel channels in your hands, and for loosening up any arthritis if you have it in your hands or your wrists. If you walk with a cane or a walker or use a wheelchair, you may very well have a lot of stiffness and tension in your hands and wrists because of using those. Go ahead now and take your hand, put your hands palm to palm, and change the direction of the bend in your wrist so that now your fingers are pointing up towards the sky. And you're going to put your hands palm to palm just like that. Begin by pressing against your palm. Your fingers may very well curl over it. And slowly but surely as we do these exercises, you can work your hand up towards the end of your fingertips. Take your time. Could take weeks or months, not a rush. As those channels and the tendons and ligaments in your wrists and arms and hands loosen up, this will become very, very easy and very possible. You can't make arthritis go away, but you can make it hurt a little less by improving the circulation to the area and getting the joints warmed up and loosened. And so that can help just a little bit. So if you have arthritis, I understand the discomfort and we'll do what we can to make it a little less uncomfortable. Then let go of that hand and go ahead and give it a little shake. And we'll do the other one. So same thing. Other arm, straight out, palm pointing towards the floor, and go ahead and press down on your hand. Now, if you're not able to have your elbow straight, that's fine, have it a little bent. If your hand only goes down just a little bit, also just fine. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body has been through different things and it has different challenges. I might have incredibly limber hips and very, very stiff wrists, and you might be exactly the opposite. So we all have to work from where we're at. And then go ahead and change the direction of the bend so that your fingers are pointing up again, and press palm to palm on that hand. And as you're able, you can go ahead and bring your hand up towards your fingertips to extend that stretch on your hand. But take your time, no need to rush. Make sure while you're doing this that you're also trying to relax and breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let go, drop your hand down, give it a little shake. Now let's bring our hands up together. We're going to put the heels of our hands together all the way up to our fingertips. What we want to do is make sure we keep the heels of our hands together. We don't want them to come back apart. But as we're able, go ahead and raise your elbows. You might only be able to raise them to about here, and then the heels of your hand starts to come apart. You may be able to do this. Everybody's going to be in a different spot. So go ahead and bring your elbows up if you're able. Relax your shoulders. Shoulders should be down and relaxed. And we're just pressing our hands into each other. I'm going to turn sideways and show you what I'm doing. I'm going to do gloves, which is where I spread my fingers all the way out, and mittens, or my hands go back together. So gloves and mittens are what we're doing. My hands are pressed together from heels to fingertips, and I'm doing gloves and mittens. And you will absolutely feel the stretch in your hands as you're doing this. Your elbows may be here or they may be up there. As your elbows are able to come up higher, you'll be stretching a different area of your hands. Again, take your time. Use the pressure from the other hand to move your fingers out and back in gloves or mittens. Breathe. Nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then go ahead and clasp your hands together and roll them around to loosen them up one last time. And we're going to press forward. Now, if you're able to do this, that's wonderful. If you're not, you can actually just put your hands like this. And we're going to reach up. And if possible, bring your hands down behind your neck. Now, if you have to do this instead, that's just fine. But if you're able, having your hands together right behind your neck, elbows extended out to the side, arch your back a little bit, and just look up. Your hands are supporting your head, your feet are firmly planted on the ground, and you're imagining you're laying out in a nice green field, looking up at a beautiful blue sky, and it's a day that's a little cooler than today. And while you're here, take a nice big deep breath in through your nose, and feel your chest lift and out through your mouth. And let's do that again. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And this time when we breathe out, let's bend forward very gently. Bring your elbows in and your head forward and breathe out. And one more. Breathe in, come up, extend your arms out to either side. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, looking up at those beautiful blue sky and white clouds, and then breathe out. Last one. Nice deep breath in, arms up to either side, and let your arms drop down, and breathe out. There we go. Okay, down to our toes. Let's work on our toes and our legs a little bit, and then we'll put the whole body together. So we're going to go up and down on our toes and our heels, strengthening our ankles and loosening up our feet. So we're going to do 10 up like this. You want your knees to stay nice and straight. You're trying to make sure your legs are not doing this sort of business all over the place. So be very conscious. It's always better to do 10 very slowly and do them really well than to do 10 fast and have them kind of all over the place. So let's do 10 times up on our toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now let's keep our heels down and lift our toes up. 1, 2. You'll find these might take a little more effort, a little more time because you're stretching out the Achilles tendon, biggest, strongest tendon in your body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And feet down. And then take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now let's rock our feet back and forth. So first toes and then heels. Back and forth just like this. Toes and heels. Up on your toes, up on your heels. Just like that. Get the motion going in your feet. When we're pressing down on our toes and arching our feet up, we're actually loosening up that plantar's fascia on the bottom of our arch. Okay, now here's the one where we connect our brain in. Are you ready? So put one toe down and one heel down. And we're going to alternate back and forth. Just like this. This one is a fun one when we all get to be together in class, as people try and watch their feet and see what they're doing, and then watch their neighbors' feet and see what those are doing. This is a hoot then. It's not nearly as fun when we're all separated all over the place. And now if that's going well, go ahead and see if you can do it faster. Back and forth. Alternating with one toe down and one heel down. And now leave off of that and we're just going to march. You don't need to pick your feet up really high. Even just a ½ inch is just fine. But you want to alternate left and right like you're marching. This is actually a movement that's exceedingly good for your brain as well as your legs and hips. So you always want to see if you can't make this motion every day at some point. While you're sitting and having coffee, excellent time to exercise and stretch out your feet and ankles. Strong, flexible feet and ankles are your first line of defense against falling down and landing on your butt. So you definitely want to do that as often as possible. Okay, nice deep breath in and out. Now let's go ahead. We're going to go through some traditional yoga movements in the chair. We're going to do cow and cat and downward dog. Excuse me. And then today we're going to do a balance movement. We're going to move into pigeon and we're going to take pigeon all the way up to tree. So all of these will be seated. Now I know that I have a couple people in class who are absolutely able to do these poses standing and that have done them with me standing before. If you would like to go ahead and do that, you know who you are, please go ahead and do that. But for everybody else that's new that hasn't worked with me before, let's stay in our chairs for today and we'll see what we're able to do later. So legs out, just a little bit wide stance. You want to make sure your knees and your toes are pointed in the same direction. You're going to put your hands on the tops of your thighs right here. We're going to bend our hips and we're going to lean forward with a nice straight back. So we're in about this position, still looking at everybody on the camera if you have your camera on, or like me if you're looking at the back of your camera. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press up with our hands so that we arch our back. And we're going to press up just like this. This is cow. So we're arching our back and we're pressing up with our arms. If you need more of an arch, you can lean forward farther and press up again. You're going to feel the arch in your spine from your waist up to your shoulders. And you're going to, while you're here, take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And let's do one more, in through our nose and out through our mouth as we straighten our back up and come back to a central sitting position. If you're not already seated forward on your chair, like I am with some space here behind you, you want to sit forward so there's some space behind you for cat, which is next. Again, let's go ahead and have our legs out. We're sitting in a wide stance. And the first thing you're going to do is tuck your pelvis under. So you're going to roll back like you're rolling yourself into a ball like a little pill bug. And you're going to bring your shoulders stay down. They don't come up towards your ears, but you're going to bring them forward so that what you're seeing, if you were standing off to the side, close your eyes, imagine from your knees, around your back, and over the top of your head, you're making the perfect shape of a little letter C, just like in cat. And this is stretching the posterior and exterior surface of your spine, as opposed to the inward surface. Remember, relax your shoulders, bring them down, don't let them scrunch up around your neck, and allow your back to do that really long, rounded stretch. Cat position and cow are done on the floor on your hands and knees. So this is just a modified seated version that works quite as well as the other on the floor. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and you'll feel your lungs expand in the area of your back. And breathe out through your mouth. And then let's do it again. Nice big deep breath in. And out through your mouth as you sit up nice and straight and tall. Bring your feet together again, back to original seated position, and you're going to extend them out on the floor in front of you. Make sure your chair is nice and sturdy. If you haven't done this movement on your chair before, you might want to make sure it doesn't tip forward. We're going to lean forward like this. So you want to make sure that you're safe as you do that. Your legs are out in front of you. You can have your feet flexed or pointed. Apparently, I have frozen. I just looked at that. Can everybody still hear me? Okay, good. Oh, and I'm back and I'm moving again. There was a whole article this morning about how overloaded Zoom was going to be today because apparently a lot of students went back to school today. So I think we're probably just experiencing some of that delay. So you can have your toes pointed, you can have your toes flexed and pointed towards the sky. Easiest is pointed, most difficult is flexed, and halfway in between is where most people start. So your knees are straight, you're sitting up nice and straight and tall, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bend forward at our hips with our back straight. Now you can hold onto the chair, you can reach your arms out in front, you can put them on your hips, whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm gonna reach my hands out, we're gonna bend in our hips and stretch forward. Where you're feeling this stretch is in the backs of your legs, not your back. So you want to have your back nice and straight. That's what allows the stretch to happen on the backs of your legs. So as you reach forward with your back nice and straight, head up, you're stretching the backs of your legs. You can flex your feet farther to increase the stretch or point your toes to decrease it and make it simpler. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And another one in and out. Last one, in and out, and come back. And bend your knees again. Take a nice deep breath. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now go ahead and extend one leg out, and you have the other one bent. We're going to do pigeon. Pigeon is a pose that's done on the floor to help loosen up your hips. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it seated. What you're doing is you're taking one leg and you're going ahead and you're crossing the ankle over the ankle of the foot that's extended on the floor, way down there. The idea is you're allowing your hip to fall open to the side. Now there's multiple steps. We're going to start here. We're going to move the leg up a little farther. Each person goes to where you're comfortable, okay? You may not want to pull your leg up as far as I do. That's just fine. You can stop at any point. There should never be any strain in your knees. There should be no discomfort whatsoever in your knee. One of the reasons you do this, a lot of us have pain in our knees because our hips are so tight, we're compensating by asking our knees to do things they're not supposed to be doing. That range of motion in all directions is supposed to happen in our hips. So that's what we're doing right now, loosening those up. If that position's comfortable, you can go ahead and raise it up a little bit farther for the next one. Below your knee, not on it, and your hip is out to the side. and you're sitting up nice and straight and tall. Then go ahead, if you're able, you can bring your foot up to above your knee. You can absolutely use your hands if you need to, and you can continue to hold on to it for a period of time if you need to do that as well. Once you feel comfortable in this position, the next challenge series is to be able to slowly but surely bend this foot little by little. It might take weeks or not, depends on how flexible you are, until your foot is again flat on the floor and this leg is sitting up on top of your knee. Again, there should be no discomfort in your knee. All of the stretch should be happening in your hips. If you've had hip surgery, you may want to keep this leg here lower and on that angle, because that will allow for your hip to do this. Good job, Irene. I can see a few people's legs, not many, but a few. When you're in this position, wherever you get to that you're satisfied is the farthest you can go, go ahead and get comfortable in that position, and if possible, take your arms off of your leg and just hold them out to the side. See if you're able to hold your leg right there with your arms off to the side. If you can, extend your arms out to either side, straight, with your hands up. We're combining pigeon with tree right now. And then if that's possible, go ahead and see if you can bring your hands above your head and press your palms together. If this position is impossible, you can lay them on top of your head or have them right here in front of you. Either one is fine. When you get to this position, again, remember that all of your weight is on your foot on the floor. There's no discomfort in that upper knee. The stretch is happening in your hip. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And allow your hands to come down. Extend that lower leg out. Slide your foot down the top and let that leg just sit and relax for just a moment. Extend it all the way out and we'll do the other side. Very good. Okay, other leg. Ankle crosses over ankle on the bottom. Get yourself situated so that the stretch is in your hip. You might need to move around a little bit, especially if you have challenged knees or you've had work on your hips done. You need to take your time with these. Don't ever rush these movements. They're actually doing a lot to stretch the fascia, the tendons, and the ligaments, and help those to relax so you can move more freely, which is the whole idea here. Starting in about a month, we will spend more time, as we do every year, focusing on our breathing capacity. These breathing, the manner in which we breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth, have a lot to do with expanding our lung capacity, and we want to make sure that we prepare for what we live through here for about 6 months of the Chicago winter. Let's go ahead and raise our foot up a little higher if we're able. Now, if you're not in the Chicago area, and you don't have a winter like we do, we love you and we're incredibly jealous. But one of the things that we'll work on is we have several exercises we do that specifically work on expanding our lung capacity, making our lungs more healthy, engaging our diaphragm better, so that we're more prepared when we come into winter and all that goes along with that, that is the cold and flu season, in addition to whatever this winter might look like. Foot is below the knee. When you feel comfortable, you can use both of your hands if you need to, and pick your foot up above your knee. Hold on to it if you have to for a while, that's okay. As you're getting yourself positioned up here, might take you a little bit. If you happen to have on slippery yoga pants, it might be more challenging than it is on a day where you got the non-sticky one, the stickier ones on. So whatever you gotta do, you go ahead and hold on to your leg for just a moment. Remember, no discomfort in your knee. All of the stretch should be in your hip. And then as you're able, you can go ahead and bend that leg on the bottom so that the knee ends up bent, and you're working towards this position where your foot is level Your lower leg is level, and the stretch is in your hip. Once we're up at this point, if you're able to let go, you can go ahead and just put your arms out to either side. See if this feels the same as the other side. You might feel like the first side worked great and this one is way out of balance, or vice versa. The sides of a person's body are very, very different. So we'll start with our hands out here. If this side doesn't do what the last one did, that just means you're a normal human. If you're able to be there, go ahead and you can put your arms out straight to either side. Again, focusing straight ahead. Letting your legs do whatever they're working on doing while they're down there. And then if you can, bringing your hands up above your head, palm to palm, sitting up nice and straight and tall. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And another one in and out. Last one in and out. Go ahead and bring your arms down. Extend your leg out and let the top leg slide down and let them just rest straight out in front of you for just a moment while you raise your body nice and straight and tall from your hips up. Nice deep breath in and out. Bend your knees and come back. So we have about 4 or 5 minutes. So what I'd like to do is the pose that we always end with is eagle, and then about 2 minutes of meditation. We have a variety of meditations we do, some as long as 10 or 12 minutes. So the class absolutely changes every time. So arms out to either side, palms down. Bring one arm in, elbow bent, forearm and hand and fingers pointing straight up towards the sky. Hey, Joe! Every once in a while, a new picture pops up over here and I get to see new people. Long arm comes in underneath and turns and comes up. As it comes up, it pulls that first arm across your chest. If you can't do all of this wraparound business, doesn't matter in the least. The whole point is that that arm pulls up and pulls that first arm across your chest, and this allows a stretch between your shoulder blades, across your upper and central back, and that would be all the muscles that sit right over your adrenal glands. So if there's been any stress or tension, you might have knots back there, this is exactly what to do to help that relax and release. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more in and out. And drop your arms to either side. And just let it sit for a moment. And then arms up again. We'll do the other arm. Whichever one you did the last time, bring the other one in this time. Elbow bent, forearm and fingers and hand pointed up towards the sky. Long arm comes underneath, folds up and pulls that first arm across your chest. Nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And in and out, and just let them drop and relax. Find a spot where you're comfortable in your chair. If you're able to sit all the way back and still touch the floor, that's wonderful. Place your hands on your thighs, close your eyes, and take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take your awareness to the outside surface of your entire body. The blood is flowing through your whole system. Your muscles are warmed and loosened. Feel everything from the bottom of your littlest toe and your biggest toe all the way up through your feet, calves, thighs, back, hips, stomach, abs, chest, lungs, heart. Bring your awareness up through your shoulders, all the way down your arms to your fingertips and back up again, up through your neck and across your face and skull to the very top. And imagine that every single cell in that entire body is breathing as one. So that when you breathe in through your nose, you're filling each cell with brand new, healing, golden, clean energy and light and air. And as you breathe out through your mouth, you're getting rid of any excess and leftover tension and stress, aggravation. You can give it a color if you want so that you can see it flow away. And let's take another nice deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. And then let's just sit in silence, breathing at our own pace. And what we'll do right now is just listen. Listen to the sounds in your home. Listen to the sounds of my birds in the background. And we'll do 1 minute of this type of meditation where we just give all of our attention to our ears. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and breathe deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Last one, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me for yoga today. Namaste.